Okay, I think it's a good time to get started. So, welcome to the BMC Helix webinar series. Today's session, we're going to be concentrating on agents, which is Service Collaborator. It's one of our guided learning experience workshops. Joining me today is Riddhi. Riddhi will be presenting and she will introduce herself shortly. So, just a couple of reminders before I hand over to Riddhi. There is the Q&A section of Zoom, which you'll find at the bottom of your screen. If you have any questions during the session, please put your questions there. We are joined by Riddhi's team that will help answer those. And then we will have roughly around 15 to 20 minutes at the end, depending on how quick we get through the session, where we can answer your questions live. Until that time, you will remain muted. So, Riddhi, without further ado, I'm now going to hand over to you to kick things off.
Thank you, Sam. Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. My name is Riddhi Latigra. I'm from Helix Adoption Advisory Team. I'm joining you from the snowy Calgary, Alberta, where I'm currently taking in the mountain views. It's chilly outside, minus 10 Celsius degree, snowing out crazy since last night, and I'm doing my best to stay warm every time. Okay. So during the workshop, I won't be able to move back and forth. However, please do not hesitate to ask your questions in our Q&A panel as suggested by Samantha. Okay, let's move to the next slide. Here's a quick agenda. Workshop structure and goals, introduction of the service collaborator, and we are going to configure the workshop. We are going to configure the service collaborator, so you will feel the hands-on experience. And at the last, we are open up the Q&A section. So if you have any queries, any questions, if you stuck somewhere, please do not hesitate to put your question into the Q&A section. We will be happy to help you. My team, they are sitting aside over here, and they will help you with the configuration if you stuck somewhere. Okay, so let me move to the next slide. Service Collaborator Workshop. So why are we here today, right? So today's purpose of the session is we want to configure the Helix GPT Service Collaborator for your ITSM, BMC Helix ITSM, right? During the workshop, some of the tools that we are going to use it, like Innovation Studio or Innovation Suite, Helix GPT Agent Studio, ITSM application, and Mixture, and some Notepad or WordPad, or kind of an editor if you wanted to use to copy some skills or agents, name, etc., etc., right? As I said, if you're stuck, please feel free to raise your question in our Q&A section. And our goal is the fully functional service collaborator for your BMC Helix ITSM, which empowers the service agents and managers to leverage the Helix GPT for a faster MTTR, mean time resolution, and automated ticket management, right? So moving to the next slide. Some of the prerequisites, right? So we have some of the prerequisites that we have kept in our mind. Your environment should be on a 25.4.x version. Your PWA must be enabled for your environment. There is a small setting in the material you can do that, and you can have the enabled PWA. Okay. Few prerequisites around the roles and the permissions. You would need the admin permission for the Innovation Studio and HTM admin persona to be added for your user. LLM subscription, right? So you should have the supported LLM subscription for the 25.4. We are supporting Azure OpenAI GPT 4.1 and Google Gemini 2.5 Flash. Once you are subscribed with the LLM supported LLMs, you will be enabled with the following information like API endpoint URL, API key, and the version. So these three information will be needed when you register your LLM with the Helix GPT Agent Studio. Moving to the next slide. Okay, what is Service Collaborator? I would say it is your best friend of the ITSM, right? BMC Helix ITSM. It offers you a conversational search experience. If you wanted to search any of the knowledge articles, tickets, problems, change, etc., right? So This is going to be that service collaborator is going to be your best friend and gives you information so quickly. Your end users can ask questions, get the instant relevant resolutions instead of browsing the long list, right? So there might be a scenario where a service manager comes in and say, hey, you have a lot of critical tickets open. You need to get your team investigated them and come back with the status report. So by hearing this task, it is so tedious task, right? So the service collaborator is a one solution which will give you a so fast. You can search the tickets, you can get the summarization of it, you can send us the report, etc., right? So it's pretty easy. Service collaborator, so from 25.4, it is a more agentic version. So it gives you, it suggests you the solution while one click on Ask Helix GPT, at the ITSM side. It finds the information too faster and connects employees to the right support teams. It eventually reducing the manual efforts, what you are doing day-to-day life in your support organization, right? This is LLM based. We have and it is agentic one, which gives you a feel. It gives you efficient way to talk to in a very natural language. You don't need to a specific skill to get those information. So it is so natural. Any end users without technical knowledge, they can talk to the service collaborator agent and get the information, right? Moving to the next slide. Okay. So service collaborator skills, right? So there are mainly four functionalities. I would say agent assist, agentic chat, intelligent routing, and smart resolution. So let's talk about the agent assist, right? It's give you a faster resolutions by summarizing the top relevant knowledge articles. So for example, you have the bunch of knowledge articles already present in your system. Uh, your data source may be RCAM, your data source may be HCAM, maybe some of the in other third party data source, right, which are the supported ones, say for example Confluence, SharePoint, web, etc., right? So it's give you a faster resolutions from identifying the relevant and more nearby knowledge articles from the audit from their data source, right, from the database. Say, for example, okay, I have a VPN. I'm an end user and I have a problem like VPN connection issues, right? So I have a already knowledge article present in my system where there is a step-by-step troubleshooting steps are provided, right? So when end user asks, I have a VPN issue or incident raised around that area, the service collaborators give you a most relevant knowledge articles which will enable your end user, your service desk agent to quickly share the resolution with the end user, right, in the via the incident. The next is agentic chat. So agentic chats give you experience in talk in a very natural language. You can ask your queries around the problems, around the change request, around the incidents, as I said before, right? So there could be a manager request on asking about some sort of a status report, how many incidents, critical incidents there are, might be a outage, etc., and the status report should be submitted from the agent, right? So in kind of this is a kind of a critical situation, the service collaborator works very fast, very efficient, and it's give you the information. Intelligent routing. So intelligent routing is leveraged by the service collaborator. Basically, it is the solution. One of the solutions comes under the incident management. So it gives you, once you configure this functionality through the ITSM management, it gives, you can leverage that functionality with your service collaborator, which intelligently routing your tickets and based on the summary and description and other attributes, right? The next one is a smart resolutions. So say for example, working as a service desk agent, right? Every seconds counts with resolving the incidents. So with this completely busy schedule, right? So you have to handle as a service desk angel, as a service desk agent, you have to handle the incidents. In this busy schedule, it happens for your agents that they would like to write the very uh, informative resolution notes, but they can't, right, due to the tight schedule and other priority tasks, right? So through the smart resolutions, they can um, write the information, whatever the resolutions they have provided, in a very informative way, right? It contains every details that is put in activity logs. So whatever the activities has been done through the service collaborator or in the incident, right, that is getting the reference of it, and it generates the beautiful resolution summary that can leverage by this your manager, your leadership, etc., right, and and other service desk agents as well. So let me move to the next slide. Okay, so while in the configuration, we were following one of the we are going to follow up the workflow, like models. We are going to configure or register our model with the Helix GPT Agent Studio. We are ingesting a data. So you can ingest the data from RKM, your HKM, which is a com around, your SharePoint, your Confluence, Web, etc. That all the supported data sources are listed at the BMC documentation. So once you provision your LLM, when you configure the data or the register, or you can configure your data connection job, and you will going to ingest the data through the Innovation Studio data connection job, right? So you at this flow, right? So first step is configuring the or registering your LLM, creating the records for the data connection job, and finally you are running the data connection job, right? So moving to the next slide, I'm going to demonstrate you in the configuration workshop, in current workshop. Okay, so during this configuration, right, so we are going to ingest the data, that is, we call it a data ingestion process, registering the model. We are creating a one agent, which is called ITSM agent. One skill which we call as the agent assistance for Helix ITSM, ITSM Helix GPT skill. And at the last, we are linking the skill ID from the agent assistance for the ITSM Helix GPT to the ITSM application. So this is a complete flow that we are going to follow that, and which will enable you to configure the service collaborator. Okay, moving to the next slide. Okay, so some of uh, the recommendations about the seeded data. So seeded data is nothing but a kind of a template, you can say, in a very normal language. So the recommendation here is that we can't use the out of the box one because it is not advisable. So what we are going to do is we are creating a skill and we are creating the agent. We are getting the copy of the out of the box, so that whenever the upgrade happens, and if you have customized, if you have done some customization, etc., so it don't override, right? So it remains in the system. So that is the reason we are recommending to get the copy of the agent, get the copy of the skill. Okay, next slide. The configuration, just bear with me, let me take my screen. Okay, this is my demo version, demo environment. It is on a 25.4. Okay, so this is a very familiar screen for us, where every tile are present as per the entitlement. So for me, every tiles are present. But here, for the configuration purpose, I'm going to use Innovation Studio. Okay, one is Innovation Studio and one is the ITSM, Helix ITSM. Okay, where we are seeing how you can leverage the service collaborator, right? So let's go with the Innovation Studio. I'm clicking on that. It will open up in another browser window. To save at 10 seconds, I'm clicking over here on a click here. Okay. First thing is, let's validate it is a 25.4. You can go over here and into the application section. You can see Helix GPT Agent Studio. It is 25.4. Your Helix ITSM or ITSM application is 25.4. Once you have confirmed that, you can move ahead with the configuration. So just bear with me 1 second. I'm going to open something. Okay. The first one, if you remember that we have covered this slide, right, where we are going to data ingestion is the first step, so that we are giving some time to the data ingestion process if they're large data. So that's the reason we are going to configure the data ingestion as a first process. To do that, what I'm going to do is I'm clicking on applications over here and finding out the Helix GPT Agent Studio option, right? So click on that. You will see a bunch of records type over here. Here, for the data ingestion process, there are two main record types are important. One is the data source, data connection job, or you can say data connection. So what I have done is, in the search bar, I have search with the data connection. So you will see there are two options. One is the data connection job and one is the data connection job step. So in a normal language, you are going to create a record of the data connection job in data connection job record type, and in the back screen, it runs, it ingests the data into the database. You can see the status of it. You have to go into the data connection job step, but we are going to go it later. Before that, we have to create the record for the data connection job. So what I'll do is I will click on a checkbox, and click on a edit. You are seeing it some of the records for me because I have already done it in the past, but to show you how you can do it, I can demonstrate you. Okay, so if you are the first time or the second time you are doing it, you have to click on a new, how you can create the record for the data ingestion. Now you see that bunch of the options are there, like a description, right? Data source, this one is the data source, and the connection ID. Now we don't have the connection ID right now, right? So what you will do, what I will do is I will take a duplicate copy of this browser. Okay, once it is open, you can click on this 9 dots or application launcher button, go into the Helix GPT Agent Studio, which will open in another window. At the right corner, you will see this wheel button or the setting button over here, right? So you have to click on that. You will see the left navigation panel. You need to expand the Helix GPT settings, and from there you can choose the connections, right? So in connection, you have the two options. One is the information sources and one is the AI service provider, right? So right now we are in a process of a data ingestion, right? So what we need is connection ID, right? So you can get it from the information sources. So whatever the information sources or the data source present in your system, you can access it from here. If you want, you can add it from here as well, right? So right now, out of the box, it is there, and I'm going to take it the Helix ITSM knowledge management connection, which is my RKM, okay? And Helix knowledge management by Comaround, which is the HKM. And this is Helix business workflow knowledge management. This is for the business workflow. During this configuration workshop, I'm going to ingest the data for the RKM, but you can rest, you can get the other data sources as well, and you can get the information of the skill ID, right? So as I said, I'm going to continue with the Helix ITSM knowledge management, but there is a no skill ID present. So what you can do is click on here and enable the ID option. You will see the ID is already there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this So as I said in the one of the prerequisites, we need a notepad or wordpad. Why? Because some of the skill IDs we might be needed in the further configuration. So that's the reason we are keeping into the notepad for the easy access. So what I'm going to do is I'm copy pasting somewhere in my notepad, and I'm going back to my data connection job, where I'm going to open a new. There is a dot in the description, so you can remove that, and you can say RKM. Description can be anything. The data connection ID. So we have just copied the data connection ID. I'm going to put it over here. My data source is the RKM. This is, every data source has their own key, so we have to follow that key. Like for the BWF business workflow, it is BWF. For the com around, it is HKM, and for the RKM, for the ITSM knowledge management, it is RKM. So we are going to follow that. Since if you do not have the large records in your system, in your database, you can still go with that. But if you are finding that your database is huge, you are going to ingest the huge data, so I would say that I would suggest to go in a chunks. So you can you can use the modify since options. So you click on that. You can take the 6 months or 7 months of the data each time, so that it don't stuck in between, it don't give you an error, don't give you a timeout option, timeout issues. So it is recommended to go with that. But I have a demo environment where I have a very less data. So what I'm going to do is I'm not selecting at this moment, and I'm going to save it. Assignee and execute now. Yes. So we have to enable it and click on a execute now. Just tick mark. Okay. And you are good with that. Click save. You will see the message saved successfully, right? So now you see that, let me refresh this. Right. Yeah, if you see that this is in progress. So I will give you some time, and meanwhile I will go back and find out my data connection job step, as I said right before, data connection job. So to see the status of that, you have to go into the job step. So click on that, edit data. You will see that it started. It may take some time for you, right? If you see that modified date since 17, today is the 17. Some of the records are in progress, some of are already done. If you finding anything status kind of a error or something, please go ahead and raise a support case with the customer support. Okay. Now this is done. Now the next step is model registration. So I will go back to the Helix GPT Agent Studio. You see that we have already opened information sources settings over here, right? So we are going to leverage that screen. And you see under the connection, there is another option is AI service provider. So when you click on that, it will give you a bunch of the out of the box options over here. You can, if you have already registered it, you can leverage that model already for the Service Collaborator if you have configured for the other agents. If you want, you can use the out of the box one. Say for example, GPT 4.1, right? So this is already there. If you want, you can go ahead and create the new one. For that, you need a vendor name of the model, authentication type with the API key, the version, the API endpoint URL, API key, and this default config you can copy from the out of the box one. But since I have already there, let me show you. So for me, I'm going to use my GPT 4.1. So let me open that, where I have provided Azure OpenAI, right? So, and name is 4.1. Name, you can say anything, any prefix you can add it over here, but we have to make sure the deployment name into the default config should be the similar when you subscribed your LLM from the vendor, okay? Now, authentication type is API key. the version, that the same version that you have to provide over here when you subscribed it. So when you have a subscription with the vendor, okay, you are getting the complete URL, and the URL itself has all the information. If you notice, the name of the deployment name, the version, and the URL. Okay, so this three information already contained in the URL, and the separately you are getting the API key, right? So with the registration of the LLM, we need name, any prefix you can add it, the version, the API endpoint, API key, and the default config. In the default config, you have to give the deployment name, which is you have put it when you subscribe it. So once you are done with this information, you have to hit the test connection. The connection should be a successful. Once you see this message, you can save it. And you have successfully registered your LLM. Now, the next part is we are going to create an agent. Okay. Before that, I wanted to show you something. So whenever you create an agent, there might be a possibility that some of the tools are missing, right? So let me go back one step. Okay. So before creating an agent, okay, we are going to verify some few information about the tools. Okay. So I'm going to use one of the job step. You can go ahead and refresh that if you wanted to check it. Your data connection job step or the status of the data connection. If you are okay with that, you can close it, and you can go to the agent type. Okay, now here you will see the out of the box agent type as well, which is ITSM agent. What happened? Oh, it's timed out. Give me a second. I'm going to refresh the screen. Let me open. Everything is logged out. Maybe my internet fluctuated. I don't know. Okay, anyways, let's go back. Okay. So we were in the Helix GPT Agent Studio, right? So in the record sections, if you remember, right? And I'm going to, I was using the agent type, right? Because I wanted to see that what are if the required tools are there or not. So I'm going to click on a checkbox of the agent type and edit data. And I'm going to search the ITSM agent. Right. So if you see that there is an option called supported tool codes, right? So for your case, it might be possible that this MFS tool is not present. Okay, so you can verify over here. If it is not selected, you are going to select that and save it. For me, it is already selected, so I'm not doing anything on it. So you can click on that and click on a save. So that means when you create your agent, you will be enabled the required tools for your agent. Okay. So for now, I'm going to click cancel. Now I'm going back to my Helix GPT Agent Studio, from where we have got the skill ID, our LLM is got registered. Now on this screen, you see the option called agents, right? So when you click on agents, it will enable you to create your own agent. Okay, so there is an option called add agent, right? So click on add agent. It will ask you a bunch of the information. So say for example, name. So I can say Helix N ITSM agent. Okay, the type is ITSM agent. You can give description as you want. Provider, I'm going to check Azure OpenAI, which is my registered one, and the GPT 4.1 or the another one. You can select it, right? Now, when you click on a save and next, it goes to the instruction one. But right now, it is empty. So we need to copy the out of the box instructions, okay, to our agent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate the agent tab over here. And in the search bar, you see here, you can say ITSM agent, okay. You will see the out of the box ITSM agent option. Click on that. You can directly go to this instruction page. You can click on the editor in the panel and just go to the end. You can copy, go back to your agent page and paste it. Okay. Just verify that you are copied from starting with the role and ending with the question star star. Okay. Ending with the question star star and started with the role. So we are good with that. Now you can go ahead and click on a save and next. Okay. Now you see the tools option, right? So before a few minutes ago, I said we need a couple of tools. There might be a possibility that you are not seeing your tools. So which one we have added? MFS tools, which is we require that, right? So give me a second. Some of the tools we will needed, like MFS tools, knowledge tools, then ITSM, then foundation, and ITSM asset. Okay. Again, MFS tools, knowledge tool, ITSM, foundation, and ITSM asset. Once you select that, you can go ahead and click create. Okay. Now you have created your agent. So now so far we have ingested the data, we have registered the model, we have created your agent. Now the next step is creating the skill. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm on a same screen from where I have created agent. For creation of the skills, you have to go back into the skill section. Okay, so you will see the option application and other options like a skill, etc., right? So from here in the application, I'm going to use the Helix ITSM service management. I have a other bunch of skills already created. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on a add skill. Here, I'm going to create the copy of the out of the box one, right? So which is the out of the box one from the list, right? The one is Helix Agent Assistance for ITSM Helix GPT. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give a name, Helix N Agent Assistance for ITSM Helix GPT. Type, if you are getting option type, it should be the regular one. Provider, you can select your provider. I'm going to use my Azure OpenAI, and the model which you want to use, like GPT 4.1. We are not selecting over here in the user context process definition. The skill is going to be a agent based, right? So we are clicking on a agent, and you can say click add. Now you see the message, the skill is created. Now in the left navigation, you will see your new skill is created. So click on that, select the radio button of it, and you will see the bunch of options available. So we have already selected provider and model, so we are not doing anything on to that, but we are going to go into the agent section. In the agent, you see, you remember that one agent that we have created. So I have created with Helix N, right? So you have to select that agent and click apply. That means you are associating your new agent, your custom agent, to your custom skill, right? Here we were talking, if you remember that we were talking about the seeded information, right? So we are going to use the going to use the templates to create our custom record types like agent and the skill, so that whenever you your environment is upgraded, you will not lose anything. Okay, and if you have done any customization. Okay, now we have linked our agent to the skill. Now the next step is search settings. You will see the bunch of out of the box options are already selected, but what you are going to do is, for me, I have ingested only one data source at this moment, right? Which is Helix ITSM Knowledge Management. For you, it can be a different one. If you have ingested a business workflow, if you have ingested for the ITSM, if you have ingested for other data source like Confluence, SharePoint, etc., you have to select into the search setting, right? So I'm I'm not selecting the other options. I'm just keeping the ITSM knowledge management. For that, I have ingested the data and click apply. The rest of the information into the channels config, we are not going to change or anything over here, but we are going to add one JSON code into our agent. Okay, so for that, just give me a second. I can give you in the chat. Okay, next JSON code. Okay, I'm copy paste in the chat so that you have handy. Okay, in the chat. Where is the chat screen? Can somebody? Okay, I got it now. In the chat section, I'm providing you. Okay. So to add this JSON, so what you need to do is you can go into the agent type data editor if it is already open for you. Okay. And you can click on a close. Just a second. Okay. Okay. Now you are in the Helix GPT Agent Studio at the records options, and you see the agent option, agent record type. Click on the agent, click edit data. If you remember, we have created our agent from this Helix GPT Agent Studio. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to search my agent, okay, my custom agent, which is Helix N. It was starting with Helix N, okay, Helix N ITSM agent. You click on that and edit it. You see this configuration, this is empty right now. So what I'm going to do it, I'm deleting the brackets and I'm copy paste the tool. Make sure you do not have any additional space into it. Once you are done with that, you have to copy the configuration. Once you have done it with, you can click on a save, right? So we have updated our agent with us, the JSON configuration. Now what we are going to do is we are going to link our agent skill to the ITSM application. So what I'm going to do is I will go back and go to the Helix GPT Agent Studio. You will see that there is a no option. You don't see this option where you can find the skill ID, right? So you have to click on a visible column and click on a ID. Okay, so just expand it a little bit. You have to get the skill ID copied in your editor, okay, which we have created recently. Just copy paste, okay, and at the right corner you see the application launcher. Go over there and click the ITSM. For you it might be ITSM application or ITSM. So click on the ITSM. Yeah. At the right corner, you see the settings button. So click on the setting. You see the bunch of the settings already there. So we are going to leverage the Helix GPT configuration, expand the GPT configuration and click on a GPT configurations. Once you have that, you will see the bunch of the records already there, right? But for 25.3 or 25.4, we are going to use 3 records over here, right? The use case is agentic ask Helix GPT, agentic resolution node generation, and the global chat. Okay. So what you need to do is you have to click on an agentic ask Helix GPT option. Copy the skill ID over here, which you have copied, and click save. I have already done it, so I'm not going to do it right now. And for now, I'm going to cancel it. Now you have to update the another use case, which is agentic resolution node generation. So click on the incident, remove the existing skill ID, and copy paste the new skill ID which you have copied recently. Once you've done it, click on a save. I'm canceling for now. Now the third is the agent global chat. So click on a global chat, remove the existing skill ID, provide the new skill ID, and click on a save. Now I'm going to cancel for now. So far what we have done is we have done the data ingestion process, we have registered our model, we have created ITSM agent, our custom ITSM agent, we have created ITSM skill, agent assistance for ITSM skill, and we have linked that skill with our ITSM application. Now, there are two parameters that we need to add it at the mid-tier. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my portal, my Helix portal, and open the Helix ITSM. Or if you have your mid-tier URL handy, you can go ahead with that as well. For me, I'm going to leverage this section. I'm going to use this section and accessing my mid-tier. Okay. When you are in the mid-tier, go into the AR system administration. From there, you select the AR system administration console. Once you are there, click on a system, general, and centralized configuration. When you are in the centralized configuration, we are going to update two parameters. One is the, give me a second, I can give it in your chat. And the value should be true. That's one option. And another option is I'm providing in the chat. I'm going to showcase you in the 1 minute, and the value should be chat, because by default we are going to make it as a chat option for us. Okay, so this two options we have to add. So I'm going to come here and open my com.bmc.assist.smartid and click on the asterisk option. Once you are at the asterisk options, you will see those two options. Enable Helix GPT global chat. Let me search it for you. I have already added. So let's go to the E. Enable Helix chat. Enable Helix GPT global chat is true. The value is true. And another option is Helix GPT global search. Helix GPT global search default mode equals to, the value set is chat. Once you add it over here using the add button, if it is missing, click apply. For me, it is already there, so I'm not going to do anything. For you, you have to add and apply. Okay. Now, after this setting, we are going to validate our service collaborator, right? So we have done configuration for the service collaborator. The data source is RKM. And let me go back to my Helix ITSM studio. No, Helix ITSM option, my smart IT. Okay, so let me open this. It is already there, but let me show you. Okay, in the Helix ITSM smart IT, you are going to open your ticket console. So if you click on a console, go to the ticket console. Once you have that, I have a bunch of the incidents already created. Okay, so let me showcase if it is not closed. Okay. Oh, it is, the ticket type is changed. So let me change the filter type. I will add the incidents. And yeah, I have created the error in my VPN, right, as example. So let me open this one incident. Now two things. Okay. So once you configure the service collaborator, everything is done. You will notice the two options. One is the Ask Helix GPT and one is this magnifying glass. Okay. So I'm going to leverage this Ask Helix GPT to find the relevant knowledge articles that my customer has raised regarding the VPN. So incident is raised. Now I'm going to click on a Ask Helix GPT. Now it will identify bunch of the records of the knowledge articles which are present already in my system. Okay. Yeah, you see the incident details, the work note summaries, the actionable resolution steps, and the source. The source, you can see that your article present at your RCAM, your HCAM, right, from your data source. Now you see there are two different options: summarize the activity logs and summarize the incident tickets. Right, these two options are available. You can leverage to summarize the activity which happened into the incident. So let me go back little bit into the activity section. You see the bunch of the activities are already in the system. I have updated some of few of them. Okay. Now I'm going to use that summary to create, I'm going to use this summarize activity logs option to summarize my activity, what had happened, instead of going one by one. Okay. So what I'm going to do is click on the summary activity logs. It take a 1 second, and you see that the activity logs for the incident indicates that reported VPN issues to be isolated as single user, multiple entries, that VPN is not accessible, and other details, right? It's due to the network side problem. So network side problem, right? So let's validate that. It may be present somewhere in the, oh, it's there. It seems there in the one of the activity, it says it seems there is some issue at the network side, and due to the which the VPN is not accessible. This activity is logged by the agent, and it is getting the reference of it, and it generates the summary with the relevant information already present in your incident. Okay. Now, if you notice that there is a these two quite tiny buttons. One is the copy, so that means you can copy this content in your editor, or you can send out the email. So you can click on that. You can select the only search people related to this ticket. You can provide the email address, and along with all the information, you can send it. You can attach the file, you can add the knowledge articles as well, and you can send it. Okay. Similarly, you can do it for, so excuse me, summarize activity logs. You can do similar. You can share the similar. You can share the incident summary as well, right? So let's do this. The summarize activity tickets, right? Excuse me. Now you see that it summarized the complete activity or the incident information into the detailed view, right? So it's raised for the user experiencing with the error. The issue occurs to be a specific user. It's likely related to the network problem, as noted into the activity logs. So no widespread VPN outage and other information. You can leverage this two button. You can send it to the your manager. Now there is a other one is the resolution summary. So now you will see that, okay, this beautifully, I mean, you are getting this information. And now at the time of the resolution, do I need to do I need to enter the resolution manually? No, you should not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, so for example, I'm going to um, uh, mark that status is assigned to resolved, because now I'm saying, okay, I have the knowledge article, I have the activity logs, I have the incident details, etc. Right? So now I'm okay with marking as resolved, because the end user issue is resolved with the knowledge article. Now you see that tiny option, ask Helix GPT, right, near to the resolution node. So when you click on the ask Helix GPT near to the resolution nodes, it generates the resolution nodes based on the activity happened into the incident. This is coming into the different language, because this is maybe the different language is selected. But for you, if the English language is selected, um, you can leverage this information. Okay. Now, once you add the resolution note over here, you can click on a save. Okay. Now, another option is this. You see the magnifying glass is added. So let me go over that. This is a global search. Yeah. For now, I'm not doing anything. And you see the chat options by default is added. If you remember, we have added the option called Helix GPT Global Search Default Mode to chat. That is the reason when you click on the magnifying glass, you are seeing the chat options by default. Okay, so let's validate few of the use cases. So you can have the normal chat, like let me show you. Let's start with the few information. Okay, show me all open incident for from the customer name, like Seth. Okay. In the background, it generates the informations related to the sets. So all the incidents open for the customer is set. So you can see the information is reported desktop, reported business application, and other bunch of the records, right? So now if you wanted to see, okay, now I wanted to see there, I can see the two different business application issue, but I wanted to focus on a core banking. So what I'm going to do is, let me see more informations about the specific incident, which is 102. I wanted to see which team is assigned to 102 and other bunch of information. Yeah, you will see the assigned group is service desk. Similarly, you can find out the information for any of the incident, your change, etc. Right? So now I can say, okay, I'm good with that. Can you draft an email to the team asking why this incident is still open, right? It's still pending or open, right? So it will generate the template of a template of the email. Hello, service desk agent, service desk team, because we can see that this particular incident is assigned to the service desk. So it is asking service desk team, I would like to take a follow-up on this incident, this one, and still open. Can you provide the update on this? So it is giving you a ready template of the email. You can copy paste and you can send out to the relevant teams. Okay. Now, little bit on a open request. Let's see few of the information. Show me the all open change request, right? Okay, so now it is generating the results for all the open change request, right? You can say, you can ask any, you can, similarly, you have asked for this incident, you can ask anything about these change request as well. So let me show you something like as a service desk agent, right? So let me show you. little bit complex. List all open, medium, and low incident assigned to the support group network management, and it's related to the VPN issue. Let me see. Let's see if we are getting the relevant and the accurate information. Yeah, you should. Yeah. You see, the list of all open, medium, and low incident might be a possibility. I don't have the low incidents, but support groups all are network management and it's related to the VPN. So, in one of the scenario where service desk manager would like to see that, okay, which are the total or which are how many incidents are open related to the VPN. Let's give you opportunity to create the knowledge articles, right? So that you can leverage the service collaborator for reducing the MTTR. Now, if you want, you can group them into the each theme and provide the report kind of uh, group this into the common themes and provide the summary of each because they are the large one, two, three. No open low priority incident. See, I said there might be a possibility that in this scenario you won't be able to we don't have the low priority incident, so it's giving you the information. Instead, if you have asked it the low information about the incidents, it is giving you no open low priority incidents are found, right? So now based on that, I have requested group these issues in the common themes and provide a summary of each theme, right? So if you see that unable to submit the claims due to the VPN issues, theme one, right? In the summary, it's providing you a summary as well. In the theme two, related to the North America, so it's segregating in the theme and it is providing the summary, right? So this way you can leverage the service collaborator, you can reduce the MTTR, you can empower your support organization, right? So I'm done with that and I hope you'll be able to configure the service collaborator with me. But in case if you stuck and if you would like to have a one-on-one session with you where we are going to assist you in a configuration and answering your queries, if any, please feel free to talk to your account manager, your CSM, or you can send out a request to us, success@bmc.com, and we would be happy to assist you further. Thank you so much. At this moment, I'm going back to the hand over to the SEM, and let me go to the presentation mode.
Yeah, if you can just switch to the presentation, that'd be wonderful. Okay.
Yeah.
So some of you that have joined some of the other workshops, you may have seen this slide. I am sharing it with all of our webinars as well. We are looking for Gartner surveys. Obviously, if you do have the bandwidth and time, we'd love you to provide your feedback. And this is eligible for all of our platforms. So it will cover the webinar actually I'm running tomorrow on digital workplace. So if you're interested in Employee Navigator, that's one to come to tomorrow. We do, obviously, once you get your surveys, if it is actually successful, those surveys will go out publicly and then Gartner will write to you and give you a gift card. And those gift cards are actually done in local currency. So don't worry that it's got dollars on there. They will do your local equivalent. Don't worry if you don't have your phone now or if you haven't got time. We will be sharing out these slides today, which actually does move me nicely actually onto the next slide. If you can just go to the next one for me, Riddhi. So just in summary, some of you, this may be your first workshop that you've attended. We are covering a lot of our other agents. We've got Insight Finder this week. We've also done our first one last week for Employee Navigator. We have Ops Warmer, Service Catalog Curator, and obviously the one that we're doing today as well, Service Collaborator. So if you have missed any, you can sign up again. I will be sending a email with the direct link, which means you don't actually have to re-register. You'll be able to sign up for some of the other sessions that are available. And just to the point of what Riddhi said, don't feel that you're alone. If you've got any questions, you can put them into the community group, which you can see at the bottom, the workshop group. You can ask your questions there there and the team will assist. And then there's also the opportunity to have some one-to-one time with either Riddy or it will be whoever's assigned to your account. And we've got quite a lot of the team here that are ready to help you. So really the call to action is to go away, get everything set up. If you need assistance, reach out to the team, the adoption specialist. And then if you want to just ask a general question, then you can do that from the workshop group. And then, of course, additional to these workshops are all of the webinars that I run. Some of you have probably been on many of them already this year. There's a lot that's going to be featuring on our 26.1 release. So it's very apparent to some of these workshops, and that will just help give you more growth and knowledge. And then additionally, if we move to the next slide, a bit of a plug for my team in customer success, which is education. If you do want to do any further training, we've got these WBT courses, so that's web-based training. And you've got the options of quite a few of the different agents. I will share the code in the thank you email, and you can also get 15% discount off as well. And then if we move to the next slide, Riddy, it will just show where you can do the search. So you've got obviously the options of web-based training, you've got ILT, which is instructor-led. And if you want to type in and under the search content, it's a very good search facility to find what you're looking for. And obviously, if you can't find that, you're more than welcome to reach out to me and I'll put you in contact with one of our education reps. And then I think the final slide before we go to Q&A is just really an overview. Oh, maybe we haven't got it in this one. There is an overview just to say that at the very least, we would recommend that you do the web-based training to get your journey started off with your workshops. Moves us nicely into Q&A. So we've been very quiet. We haven't had a lot of questions. I know there's one in the session at the moment. Marta, you're answering that. If you want to just maybe take that one live while I start unmuting everyone and giving them the option to speak with us. I'm not actually sure what that was in context to about the related tickets. Can you come off mute?
Sam, I can answer this live, but not sure if the person is anonymous. I don't know if they want to explain a little more, or I can go ahead and then explain what I am writing here.
Yeah, if you want to start, and if whoever
Okay.
did ask that question on here, because I can see everyone's got a name, sometimes it's just when they respond, feel free to come off mute. It might be that they're just using another profile. But yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So the question is, it could related tickets between them, like parent-child relationship, or really, if you want to answer, or I can go ahead with that.
Go ahead, Martha. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So not with GPT, with GPT in Service Collaborator, you cannot do like relationship, relate this ticket with this ticket. This is not for now available there, but you can always use the classic mode. I mean, you have one incident that you can relate that with another incident with a normal relationship. However, what is possible in GPT is to see after 25.4, and then now in 26.1 too, you can see related cases. I mean, when you have something error with VPN, for example, and then you have other tickets with the same error VPN, and then you can track how they have been resolved. So they are not creating the relationship like that, but you can check what are pretty similar to this ticket.
Whoever asked that question can just respond back and say that's confirmed. Thank you, Marta. Okay, we've got a little bit longer and time. So does anybody else have any questions? I have given you the option to speak with us live. Feel free to raise your hand or come off mute.